Hello my beautiful people, welcome to the next in the personal year series with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, here we are, personal year 33, the last in the master number series and the last of the series itself. I have had a lot of fun and it's been really re-informative going through these. So yeah, you know, it's amazing how much you can learn and how much you can forget as well, you know, so it's been great. So here we are at personal year 33. This is probably the rarest one of all of them. I think it's not so much even like as a life path number, it's not that rare, but as a personal year number it is quite rare. And interestingly enough, as you can see, the information it's not necessarily stark, but it was harder to really dig and delve into this, because there's not that much, there's not that many resources on it, to be quite honest. And I wonder if that's because it's a fairly new edition. In a lot of the older texts, there was a lot about 11, 22, but not necessarily much about 33. So again, as I said with the Life Path 33 video that I did, even though this is for your personal year 33, I will do my absolute best to do it justice. So your personal year 3 tagline is I ascend. This is the number where you transcend, where it's the number where you jump out of even the master vibrations and you ascend into divinity effectively, because this is, you know, it's about reaching that state or stage of true and pure perfection. Your aspect of divinity that is tied to the 33, for me, you know, I've given an aspect of divinity to each one of the numbers, and the one that I came up with for the 33 was divine union, because that's what it is. This is where you effectively fuse with the mass consciousness and with the divine consciousness. So your characteristics for this year, got my trusty notes here, are removal of boundaries, and obviously this can be great in one respect, but it can also in another be a bit sort of like, oh, disconcerting. You know, this is the boundaries between us and others, the boundaries between us and the world, the boundaries between this world and the next, you know, between the physical and the spiritual. All of those, all boundaries are dissolved and removed in this year. Lack of identity is one of the heavier sort of, because one thing that I will say to you about if you're having a 33 year, forget any of your own stuff. Anything that you want to do for yourself, just forget it. It's the energy just isn't there. This year is solely about the world, about the herd, about the group, about the mass consciousness. It's about the divine, it's about the spiritual, not about the tangible at all. This is a year where you're, you know, total selflessness, complete selflessness is required from you. True spirituality, and when we talk about true spirituality, we're talking about spirituality without labels, without beliefs, without dogmas, without, oh well, you know, to be on this path you have to. You don't get any of that. If you're doing any of that, you're not living true spirituality. Yes, for sure, it's good to have a focus and an idea, or an ideal, but the ideal is pure divinity. You know, nothing constructed by humans or their understanding of spirituality really holds true for this year. And it's like the same with the Life Path 33. Unless you're living it, you can never really understand it. So it's the same with a personal year 33. Unless you've had one, you don't really, like, you can guess at it, you can feel around it, but you'll never really truly understand it until you're in that moment. And it's the same with spirituality. This is the year of the mystic, but this isn't like the 11 is the year of the psychic mystic. The 22 is the year of the magical mystic, and the 33 is the year of the, you know, the ascended master that lives on a, you know, in a temple somewhere that's carved into a hill, or you know, it's that person. This is the number of the enlightened one, for, you know, let's not forget. Immersion and assimilation. This is where you immerse yourself into the masses. You know, this is the number of true empathy, true spirituality, and this is as well. This is a year that can be really challenging in that respect, especially if you're not necessarily this way inclined. It can be really hard to navigate because you've suddenly got to switch your focus from out there to in here, and not just in here, but in here and connected to all that is. So your blessings and your lessons. Your blessings are the things that will come easy, or the opportunities that might come up for you. Your lessons are how this energy will express itself through you, or how it will use you to express itself if you're not conscious of it. So this can be a powerfully creative year. And when I talk about, so there are stages of creativity, right? But in terms of creative for this, all of the master number vibrations are creative in some respect. This is the year to create a connection between you and the divine, unionize yourself with the divine, or some aspect of it. This is a very spiritual year, very powerful year for spirituality. This might be a year where you study any and all spirituality so that you can come closer to it. You know, I think the school of thought that I myself hold to is if you took all of the holy books and all of the religions of the world, put them through a sieve, you know, like you'd get like just a handful of the pure essence of truth, and the rest would be, you know, the wheat and chaff that is other people's thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and all the rest of it. You know, you'd end up with this like tiny little book that was about this thick, you know, but was just pure and utter true wisdom and true idea of spirituality. This is a year for you to be giving. This is a powerful year to be charitable, to be hospitable, to open your home, to open your heart, to open your mind to others, for others, to be in and of the world, and to be present, to be truly giving of yourself in any and every way, shape or form that is possible. This is a year for you to really be kind. People will naturally be kinder to you this year, and it's up to you to lead by example, to show them how to be truly kind, even to people that might necessarily rub you the wrong way. Now, this isn't to say, because I've got here, look, you know, this isn't to say that you should be a martyr and all the rest of it, but it's about being able to look beyond the current circumstances. So if someone's giving you a hard time, this is about the ability to look at them and say, okay, you know what? Most people don't usually act like this. There's obviously something going on for you. Maybe you're scared, maybe you're angry, maybe you're in a place that you know, this is where you will look beyond what is the surface. You will immerse yourself and you'll look into other people and say, wow, okay, you're obviously coming from a place of hurt, where you seek to understand more, you know, than you ever have before. Gentle. I can't remember what that saying is, but there's no thing that can be done that is not best done gently. There is no thing that can be done that cannot best be done gently. I think that's what it is, and that really is it. This is the year for you to discover how to just, you know, to lay a soft, gentle hand on something, to touch everything and everyone that you come into contact with a spirit of gentleness, you know. This is a year for you to be truly reflective, to really think about things, to, you know, and this could be a year for true philosophy, for true spirituality, and it might be a year where you just sort of drift off and ponder things. You know, it might be really hard for you to keep grounded, to keep your feet on the ground, or to stay sort of involved. Big groups, probably not this year. You know, loud, sort of raucous, evocative sort of stuff, probably not this year. You will need that peace, that reflection. You know, you will need that time to be peaceful, to make yourself peaceful. This is a great year to learn how to meditate, how to delve into all of the spiritual arts in some way, shape or form. This is a great year for you to read and to learn about those things and what they actually mean to you. And this is what I say, like, you will want to digest all of this stuff, and then you will just go through the process of eliminating what really doesn't work for you, what really doesn't what doesn't hold true. You know, you will discover that for yourself. You know, this is a year to find the truth, whatever it is. As Mulder and Scully said, it is out there. Which leads me nicely on to the next point that I've got here. Laughter. The 33 personal year, you must laugh. You must find ways to laugh, ways to make other people laugh. You know, seek out things that are going to put a smile on your face, that are going to bring warmth and laughter to your heart. It's really important that you look for that more than anything else. One aspect of the divine that I think people kind of forget is that God has a sense of humor, whether that's God, goddess, you know, the energy, the union, the singularity, the you know, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you give to divinity, it has a brilliant sense of humor. You know, what's that saying? If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Makes total sense. So yeah, this is a year for all of those things. And you know, some of the stuff that happens this year, if you see things or if people treat you a certain way and you think, you know what, usually I would react to that, laugh it off. Learn to laugh. Learn to really laugh about it. And you'll just see how much easier this year sort of travels by for you. So your lessons, if this energy is moved through you unconsciously, or you allow it to permeate your life unconsciously, it can make you delusional. You know, these delusions of grandeur and, oh yes, you know, everybody's waiting for me and I'm this grand, you know, sort of delusions of grandeur for sure. You know, like, oh, people are waiting for me and I'm important, and, you know, all of that sort of stuff. That's where you've gone way too sort of into it. But the difficult part about that is there is something about your energy. If you're in a personal year of 33, this is a time for you to bring something to the wider circle. It's a time for you to bring something to the world that is going to be truly uplifting and enlightening for them. However, sometimes that thing that you bring to the world is really small, and it's meant to be the catalyst. You know, it doesn't have to be you at the pulpit sort of waving a fist leading millions. Sometimes it can be a really small way, sometimes it can be a really small and humble way. And very often it is, you know, very often it is. Unstable. Yeah, really. You know, if there's a lack of boundaries and a lack of identity and a complete immersion into everything, you know, on the sort of more challenging or unconscious side, this can be Borg mentality, you know, like just completely disappearing into all things. And, you know, there's so much I want to say, but I know I won't. You know, this could be a year where you could, if you're unconscious of this energy, it's self-righteous, you know, like, well, you know, I've studied a lot of spirituality and I'm on a true spiritual path and I this and I that, and, you know, this overinflated sense of self where you kind of stood on a soapbox judging everybody else because you are truly spiritual and you know more about spirituality than anybody else. You could really find that this energy pervades this year. So I warn you to, or I caution you to err on the side of caution. If you feel this stuff bubbling up within you, bring it back and ask yourself the question. Martyr, you know, well, you know, I just have to suffer. I just have to, you know, there isn't anybody else to do it. I have to go without. I have to put myself on the line. I have to sacrifice myself for everybody and everything. You know, I'm making light of it, but there can be a lot of this energy around in these, especially with the master vibrations, because they're, you know, they're supposed to be light. You know, they're supposed to be the highest expression of the energy, and if it's sort of misused or you know, you miss the point of it, it kind of just, it can take you off the deep end a little. Escapist, you might have this tendency, I mean, and I got to be honest, with the 33 energy, escapist tendencies, this can lead down paths of alcoholism, drug abuse, you know, sex abuse, like whatever, like it can, whatever you can do to escape the reality of some of the stuff that you learn, tends to be the path that a lot of 33 people will take. However, it's just about escape from having to do the work, or having to truly look at things, or having to truly own some of your own stuff. Don't let this year be about that for you. You know, it will take courage, it will take guts to look at and to really examine everything and to reflect on it all. But if you find that ability to laugh, if you find that ability to reflect, or to be peaceful, and to be gentle and kind, but also with yourself as well as others, you will sail through. Unrealistic, it can make you very unrealistic and very sort of, you know, almost like cartoon character, like, well, you know, all we've got to do is open a portal to a dimension and people are kind of like, okay, yes, we can do that. You know, no, not necessarily just in that way, but unrealistic in terms of what is actually possible and what should be done. You know, you could have some, again, this comes into this sort of idea of delusion as well. Detached could just make you really sort of spacey out there, you know, and not necessarily in the good way. This could be a year where a lot of people are like, are you drunk? Are you high? Like, what's going on? And you're not, like, you're completely, you know, you're completely sober, but you're just so far out there. You need to find ways to do all of this stuff, but keep yourself grounded at the same time. And then finally, dark. It's like any of the master vibrations. If it's misused, or if you use it for selfish purposes, or to judge others, it will turn on you. They all do that. For some reason, that is the one thing that I found about all of the master number vibrations, especially. They will really nab you in the butt if you misuse them, or if you use them for the wrong reasons. Okay, so this is a year to understand you and your life, and to understand that those things are not your own. This is a year for you to discover that you are truly a child of the universe, or a child of God, or the goddess, or the gods, or whatever you want to call them. This is a year for you to understand that you don't belong to yourself. You belong to the divine. You belong to you belong to humanity, and ultimately, at base level, you belong to the earth. Your body was formed from everything on this earth, and it will return back to that same place. You know, so and it's a year to really get right with that idea. You know, it might seem heavy and morbid, but this year obviously asks you to contemplate some of the bigger and deeper stuff of life. To be charitable, to be kind, and to do good deeds for others. This is not a year to start a business. It's not a year for you to try and rack up money. It's not a prosperous year. Whatever comes to you very likely will not, and when I say taken from you, I don't mean like, you know, some catastrophic thing, but there will be a cause that comes up. There'll be something that comes up that you think, you know what, I don't need this, they need this. So it's like whatever flows to you will likely flow out or away from you as well. It's a year for you to be of service to the world, absolutely. I think that one speaks for itself. This is the true servant of humanity. And I always say this as well, and it's really important that you remember this one for this reason. You know, one thing that I say, that I've always said actually, is I'm here to be of service to humanity, but not to be its servant. Remind yourself of that line. This is your 33 year, remind yourself of that line often, and it will stop you from going too far down the path of the martyr. This is a year for, interesting, because the next point is, this is a year to be self-sacrificing. And when I say self-sacrificing, this isn't in terms of a martyr, but give your time, give your money, give your resources, give your love, give your understanding to people. Those things can go just those two things can go a very, very long way for you in this year. Ask what you can offer the world, and give freely of yourself without expectation of any form of reward. That part is really important for a 33 year. Be in the world, attach yourself to groups, participate, and do a lot of it. You know, go and volunteer at shelters, go and meet people, go and help people, go on missions, go on retreats. go on, you know, all of these sorts of things. Anything that's going to help you find your true connection to the world and to the people in it, these are the things that you need to do. You know, I talked earlier about the true mystic sat in a temple and all the rest of it. That's a part of it, but that's very much of the old world. This, you know, in the here and now, you will need to find time to isolate so that you can commune with what you believe to be the divine. Absolutely, that's going to be a vital part of this year, but it's also vital for you to connect to the world and offer yourself in any way, shape or form that you can. Alone time will be granted for you to recharge, but that's about it. You won't be spending extended periods of time sat at home binging Netflix and all the rest of it. If you do, it will just make you really paranoid and very uneasy. You know, you will need to find ways. Like, you'll have time to rest, to recoup, because even the universe understands that everything needs to rest. And you'll be given those moments and those periods throughout the year. But outside of that, you've got to be out there in the world, giving, being and doing for the world. Get in tune with nature, connect to animals, connect with the water, with the trees, you know, with the natural world in general. This is a time for you to immerse yourself and assimilate yourself into the natural world. Get to know the cycles and the seasons. Get to know what the moons are, how the cycles of the moon affect you, what they're called. You know, observe the seasons and all of the things that take place around you. Okay, so in business, put others first and you will grow and succeed. So if you, obviously, you know, we live in a real world, so we've got to consider this. If you are in business, especially if you have your own business, put others first in all of your doings, dealings and stuff. Put other people first. The more you do that, I promise you, the more you do that, the more you will grow and prosper. That's the way that the master numbers work. It's just the energy that they are. Material concerns are to be looked beyond. What is the value of something? What are you really getting out of something? This is so anything that's material in your life, ask yourself the true value of it. Do I actually need this? What purpose does it serve? Why do I truly have it? Why am I tied to this thing or paying for it? Or, you know, why do I say that I need it in my life? And does it actually provide what it says it provides me? Be kind, be tolerant and be patient. Treat everybody as if they were your child. If you don't have any children, treat them as you would treat your parents. If you're not on good terms with your parents, treat everyone how you would treat your pets. You know, 9 out of 10 people that I know and 9 out of 10 people that are a part of the Reydiant reality community love animals, really love animals. So if that's the case, treat everybody like you would treat your animal brethren. See everyone as your own child. Yep. See above the here and now. This is, you know, look at, and this is the other thing as well that I haven't mentioned, because you are sort of so immersed in things and so sort of without boundaries and stuff, you can connect to everything, and you can, sometimes you'll be able to intuit the reason that things have happened and what the consequences are, as opposed to, you know, whatever the ripples were that created a certain situation. You'll be able to see, okay, well, these are all of the ways that it can now sort of go or turn into or shape into. This can be a truly beautiful year, but only if you live for others. That's the big piece of advice. Everyone will benefit you if you are working on or for other people. The more you do for others in this year, the more you will be blessed. The years that carry that vibration are the 3 master numbers, the 7-year and the 9-year. Out of all of them, those are the ones. The more you do for others, the better it will be for you. I'll probably add the 6 to that as well. But the 6 is more about your personal unit, like, so your friends, your family, your wider circle. Whereas the other years that I mentioned, it's more about, you know, the world. Key piece of advice: this is a year for you to live for other people. I think I've mentioned that like 100 times in this video, but that's the truth of it. That's how you will best win this year, if you are giving freely of yourself and expecting nothing in return. You can learn a lot about yourself, about the world, about what makes people tick, about the way that things really are run. You could learn a lot about this stuff if you really are present this year. So find ways to do that and connect with yourself, the world around you, and the universe. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic year. Whether you're watching this today, tomorrow, a year from now, 50 years from now, I truly hope that it benefits you and serves you in some way, shape or form. Thank you for being of service to the world, you wonderful person, in your 33 year. Take care, and I'll see you soon.